Greetings. I'm Mike. So, we just Strategic Line just recently released 3 new items into the Bugs Market. Now, Bugs Market, as you may be aware, is actually stuff that's already been released in previous years as overcut content. So we've been able to run these lots before. So, as you can see, we've got about 5 days left on this when at the time of recording. So we've got Photon Burst, which is brand new, and the Universal Thorium Technologies, which is basically a kit module which contains two different things that I'll cover in a little while, and a mass torpedo launcher. So since we're in Deferrer, we're going to be starting with the Photon torpedo launcher. So this is loosely based on the weapon of the same name in Elite Force. You might see me have a bit of fun firing it around. And yes, so the best way to show it off is actually just, well, fire off. You see, it does quite a bit of damage, but this area is really weak. And oops, I've got to mention that's part of our kit module. I'm just going to talk about in a minute. And there's basically 2 versions of this. Primary fire has got there's a short fire, and has got a problem with it. And we can't fire it now. Yes, that's right. These use a charge system, which means that you will need to have another weapon to hand, or you're basically going to be going around and going with charge, or going whack with using the tertiary attack, which works for Bog here, but that's only because it's a. And I forgot to mention, you also will get knocked back if you get a little too close to the explosion. Also, as I said, so that's the quick basics, and I believe the primary fire is basically can miss targets, so it goes where you aim it. Not have it. Homing Photon Burst will basically both act very similar, other than one of them will automatically target, so if you miss one of them, will hit in with the nearest target. So I didn't it. And oh dear, I wasn't certain it would, but let me check. As I said, yeah, you've got to wait for it out, or you've got to use either turn attacks or switch to another weapon. This is one of the other Strategic Line variants of the thing, but not really something I can show off too much, other than if you're on console, you'll be able to get a hold of this one very soon. But yes, it will charge up if you swap to another weapon anyways. So the Thorium kit module has two different modes. The kit module itself will automatically summon a falling assault drone just to assist me. As you can see, when every time I go in combat, the drone pops out. That's very nice, and doesn't have block nice pretty views if you need to do anything. But there's also a new active click here as well, so I need to this. And here it goes. And there it is. That's the. It's a very powerful, large area of effect skill. And I got to say, powerful. The biggest problem with it is, believe it or not, the exact is actually that charge up time. Because I believe it takes a couple of seconds to charge up, and I only have the advantage that most of the targets I were using were very distracted or you know. See, as you see, I've got the advantage of there's a lot of damage, but that's so. So, thoughts on the weapon. It does actually nice bits of damage. It's really just. I mean, I'm currently using against the Borg Fair, which happens to be, in my opinion, the easiest way to show it off without doing lots of showing off without being a bit. Both the Borg Fair, especially ones I've shown you, are very weak. So that's the reason why I've been able to get away with it. The problem, those 6 charges you go through quite quickly, and they do take time to recharge. I can't remember how long it would take, but I'll put it up on screen how long the recharge takes. But yes, it's very useful if you have something to use it. If you want to have something to use it alongside your favourite weapon, another weapon. So yes, it's not the best weapon in hand, but I'm not entirely sure it's got some stuff into it. So yes, it's not one of those I would go all the way if you want to go for DPS. I go for it if you want to have if you want to have something a bit, if you want to show off or be kept showing off stuff. I mean, Lucine is not really technically can get herself into where they has a team uniform, but not this time. So that's the easy part. That's the weapon done. The passive assault drone itself is actually one of the better items I think I can see in the game. It's actually a pretty decent thing to have. The big problem is that this is is actually timing. It has a charge. It has a painful charge up time, but once it does charge up, it does a nice burst of damage. So it's nice, but you really need to. It's very easy to suddenly run out of either enemies to shoot at or enemies to just do damage on. Yeah. next thing, the torpedo. But we can't do it down here on the ferry. So, let's talk about the dimensional hyperburst torpedo launcher. Well, as somewhat of a standard torpedo, it seems to act very similar to a quantum torpedo, and it's based and get most of the boosts comes from boosting up various things you would do for one torpedo, or just torpedo in general. The big thing is it's basically its big proc with basically a 33% chance, or basically one in 3 chance to steal some power from a random target, such as this plasma control station. It ends up being a bit of a hit and miss thing. It ends up being something I more or less think to avoid than actually keep, because it even gets the free offerings. It feels a bit underwhelming. Was the free offerings I mean from repetitions and stuff, not. And at some point in the very much in the future, there will be another torpedo. I'm half expecting it to come in, known as the Maelstrom torpedo. Technically, you can only buy one of the better of the two variants coming in game. And this better torpedo comes with the legendary Kira ship for 12,000 Zen, which I think feels like more worth it than one item for 8,000 Zen or 2,000 Zen. 22,000 Zen for the dimensional hyperburst torpedo. So yeah, the big problem is it's a nice torpedo when it was free, but even then it was not a particularly brilliant torpedo then, and would have been outclassed by many of the other torpedoes in the game as well. So, in short, I am not really a fan of the Dimension Hypermass torpedo launcher at all, and whilst it has some nice things to it, it just doesn't. It just feels underwhelming compared to what else we've got access to, and well, even what we had access to at the time. So, anyway, this has been Mike Shotwriter. See you guys next time.